Hello, my name is Martijn, Product Manager at Skyline Communications, and today I want to explain you how easy it is to create a new DataMiner object within your DataMiner system. Imagine you are a DataMiner DevOps engineer that tries to create a new administrative data object, which is not natively available within DataMiner. Then a DataMiner object is the right choice to make. In the future, we want to have a full-fledged low-code DevOps environment to model these objects, but to make it very convenient today, you can model them already in Excel. Today I want to show you how easy it is to create a new contact object, a very simple contact object. As you can see on the screen, I already defined what different data fields I want in my contact object. So as you can see, my contact object, I want to have a name for that, a role, an experience of that contact, a team, a street address, a city, a zip code, a country, an email address, and a cell phone number. For each data field, I already defined what data field or type of field I want that data field to have. And of course, for the enums, I already defined the predefined values. Next to data modeling, a very important feature of DataMiner object models is the state awareness. So you can really put an entire state diagram on top of your data model. Just to show you the potential around that, we created a very simple state diagram, of course. Here, my contact can be in a not active state and can be in a validated state. So for each state, you can define what data fields need to be visible, what data fields are read-write, and what data fields are read-only, for example. But equally well, for each data field, if it's mandatory to fill that in or it's optional. So it's not only the states that you can define, but equally well, you can define what state transitions are possible. So here you see I have an arrow pointing from not active to validated state. So when I'm in the not active state, I can go into the validated state, but equally well, when I'm in the validated state, I can go to the not active state. So that's my data modeling. Let's jump now into Excel and start modeling this. As you can see here on the screen, we already defined a template that you can use, of course, to make it very easy to start building a new DataMiner object. I just copy paste them from my PowerPoint. I can define a section where my data fields belongs to. So basically a section is a grouping of multiple data fields that belong together. Just to make it easy now, I just put them all in the same section. So that's all belongs to general info. For each data field, I need to define a type of fields. As you can see, we already have a ton of different data fields. We also have some more tailored DataMiner fields as a DOM instance, a resource, an element, but equally well multiples. That's for another video. Today we want to start with the basics. So here we have a string, a role is an enum, similar to the experience as an enum as well. Team is an enum. Street address is a string. City is a string as well. Zip code is an integer. My country is a string. Email address is a string, and cell phone number is a string as well. For all the enum data fields, I need to define the predefined values. So my role, for example, can be an engineer, an operator, a technician, a planner, and etc. My experience can be junior, senior, or principal, and my team is one of the following values. I can specify the default values. In this column, I can specify a tooltip, meaning if you model this object, you go into the no-code apps. There, if you hover over a data field, you would see the following information then. And then the other columns are for the more tailored DataMiner data fields, which are for another video. That's basically everything that I need to define on my first tab. And then I can go to my second tab, which I need to create a form for each state that I want for my object. So as you saw on the PowerPoint, I have two different states, so a not active state and a validated state. So here I need to define two different forms, active. As you can see, all the data fields from the first step are automatically copied over there. Similar, here I have a validated state. So here I described two states. For each state, I need to say if this field is visible, yes or no. So to make it very simple, everything is visible in the first state and reach writable. For my contacts, a name is required, role as well, an experience as well, but all other data fields are optional, for example, just to show you how that's done. In the second state, so in the validated state, everything is visible as well, but you cannot edit these data fields anymore, so that's read only for all data fields. And then similar as the not active state, I have some required fields and some. Of course, you can define them individually for each state as well. The next step, the state step, here I need to define all my state transitions. So I have a not active state and I have a validated state. As you saw on the slides, I have an arrow pointing from not active to validated, and I have an arrow pointing from validated to not active. This means that, so I have an arrow pointing from not active to validated, and I have an arrow pointing from validated to not active. I don't want to transition, of course, from not active to not active. In the following tab, in the buttons tab, here I can define all buttons. In each state you can define buttons where custom automation can be triggered from. So as soon as you click a button in a certain state, some automation script can be done that starts doing automation with your data sets that you defined. So here I, for example, want to have a button that makes the state transition from a not active state into a validated state. So that starts the validation logic. If everything is validated, of course, I move to the validated state. If not, I can stay in the not active, for example. So here I have a validate state. But equally well then, if I'm in the validated state, I want to have a state set as not active, for example. Here I need to define the script that I want to be triggered. So this is then the contact DOM button script, for example. I'll just pick the same script for my set as not active. Of course, in that script, you can see some context which button has been clicked. Equally well, I can define a tooltip with some more information around that button. And I want to have the validated button visible in the not active state and not in the validated state. And then the difference here is that the set as not active state, I only want to see that in the validated state. The last step, the events step, here you can define on each CRUD action if some automation need to run. If, for example, if I create my object, do I already want to launch some automation, yes or no? But equally well on each update and on the delete action. So now I'm already done modeling it. I just save my object. If I then go to my cube environment, here we defined a DOM designer automation script that I can execute. Here you just fill in the path of to that Excel file. Just push the create button over here, and as soon as this runs, and if you would go into a DataMiner web environment in a no-code app, for example, you're already seeing that contact DataMiner object with the data fields that we defined within Excel. So here you see the name of my contact, the role, which is an enum, looking at all the values that we defined over there, similar with the team, for example. You already see that some data fields are required, meaning they are colored in red, so I need to fill them in before I can leave this state, so to speak, and so on. So this is a very simple DataMiner objects that we created. Equally well, a very simple application on top of it, just to show you what data fields are inside my contact DOM. In the next video, I will show you how to create a more advanced DataMiner application to manage this DataMiner object, create some new instances from that and all of that. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.